What I want you to know is there are 3 ways for you to own property with somebody else and how to take title. So this is what you need to know. The 3 main ways to take title with somebody else is as follows: joint tenancy with right of survivorship, community property with right of survivorship as well, and tenants in common. Let's start with joint tenancy with right of survivorship. What you have got to understand is if you buy a piece of property, and let's say you buy it with your spouse, your life partner, and you want, the intent of that property is that upon your death, you want the person living in that property with you or your partner, even if they're not living there with you, to automatically inherit that property. Bam, it goes to them no matter what. Then the correct way to own that property is joint tenancy with right of survivorship. What that means is that it survives your death. They have the right of survivorship, so they own it after your death. It doesn't matter if your trust says or your will says somebody else is to inherit your half of the property. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship overrides the wishes of any trust or will. Next way to own property is tenants in common. This is simply where the only thing that you have in common with this piece of real estate is that you're both tenants of this property. You both own it. However, it is your desire that upon your death, you do not want your half necessarily to go to the other person that you own the property with. You want it to go to somebody else. Doesn't matter who it is. So in your will or in your trust, you state who you want it to go to. Then when upon your death, your half is dictated by what your trust or will says. It does not automatically by any means go to the person who you own it with. Next way to take title to property is in community property. Now look on your screen. These are the 9 states that are known as community property states. If you live in one of these states and you are married, the only way, in my estimation, that you should own property is in community property. This is where you both own it, and upon the death of one of you, especially if you own it in community property with right of survivorship, the other one inherits it no matter what, but you get a step up in cost basis on the entire property, which is so good for you tax-wise, I can't even tell you. So those are the 3 ways that you need to know to own property. I just hope you own it correctly.